The White House silenced a key voice in American journalism. On February 14, 2025, the Trump administration banned Associated Press reporters. These journalists were barred from the Oval Office. They were also banned from Air Force One. This unprecedented move sent shockwaves through the media landscape. It raised serious concerns about the future of press freedom in the United States. The ban was a direct result of the AP's refusal to comply with a controversial executive order. This order mandated the use of the term Gulf of America instead of the internationally recognized Gulf of Mexico. The AP, with its long and storied history of reporting on the White House, refused to bow to the pressure. They continued to use Gulf of Mexico in their reporting, citing its historical accuracy and global recognition. This act of defiance was met with swift and decisive action from the White House. AP reporters, once a fixture in the West Wing, were suddenly locked out, their access revoked. The ban sent a chilling message to journalists across the country: toe the line or face the consequences. The White House defended the ban as a necessary measure to combat what they perceived as misinformation and dishonest reporting by the AP. They argued that the news agency's refusal to adopt the administration's preferred terminology was a deliberate attempt to undermine the president's authority and sow discord among the American people. The AP, however, remained steadfast in its commitment to journalistic integrity, refusing to be bullied into sacrificing accuracy for access. The battle lines were drawn, setting the stage for a high-stakes confrontation between the White House and the free press. This ban was not just about a name, it was about control over the narrative. It was about the White House attempting to dictate what the public could and could not know. The AP, by refusing to comply, was taking a stand not just for itself, but for all journalists and for the public's right to a free and independent press. The stakes were high, and the outcome of this battle would have far-reaching implications for the future of journalism in America. In January 2025, President Trump signed an executive order that sent ripples of confusion and disbelief across the nation. This order, seemingly insignificant on the surface, mandated all government agencies to replace the long-established term Gulf of Mexico with Gulf of America. The reasoning behind this sudden shift remained shrouded in ambiguity. The White House offered little clarification, leaving many to speculate about the motivations behind this seemingly arbitrary change. Some saw it as a blatant attempt to rewrite history, to erase the cultural and geographical identity of the Gulf region and replace it with a more nationalistic, America-centric narrative. Others dismissed it as another example of the president's penchant for grandstanding, a meaningless gesture designed to appease his base and stoke controversy. Regardless of the intent, the executive order ignited a firestorm of debate, with critics denouncing it as an absurd overreach of presidential power. The Gulf of Mexico, with its rich history and diverse ecosystem, has been a fixture in maps and textbooks for centuries. Its name, a testament to its geographic location and the civilizations that have called its shores home, is deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness. To suddenly rename it, to strip it of its history and identity, felt to many like an act of cultural erasure, an attempt to impose a narrow nationalistic worldview on a region with deep global ties. The order was met with widespread resistance, not just from the media but also from academics, historians, and even some members of the president's own party. They argued that renaming the Gulf of Mexico was not only geographically inaccurate but also culturally insensitive and politically divisive. The president, however, remained undeterred, brushing aside the criticism as fake news and doubling down on his insistence on using the new name. The Associated Press, a cornerstone of American journalism since 1846, found itself at the heart of this unexpected controversy. With a reputation for unbiased reporting and a commitment to accuracy, the AP refused to comply with the executive order. They continued to use the internationally recognized Gulf of Mexico in their news coverage, citing its historical and geographical accuracy as their primary reason. This decision, while seemingly straightforward, was not without its risks. The AP was well aware of the potential consequences of defying the White House. They knew that their refusal to adopt the administration's preferred terminology could result in retaliation. Yet, they stood firm in their commitment to journalistic integrity, refusing to be swayed by political pressure or the threat of retribution. For the AP, the issue was not about politics, it was about principle. It was about upholding the fundamental tenets of journalism: accuracy, fairness, and independence. To bow to the White House's demands, to sacrifice truth for access, would be to betray the trust of their readers and undermine the very foundation of their profession. They were prepared to face the consequences, however severe, in defense of their right to report the news without fear or favor. The AP's defiance was a powerful reminder of the vital role a free and independent press plays in a democratic society. In an era of misinformation and disinformation, where truth itself is often under attack, the AP's commitment to accuracy and objectivity served as a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring power of fact-based journalism. Their decision to stand their ground, to refuse to be bullied into submission, was an inspiration to journalists around the world, a testament to the courage and integrity that define the profession. The White House, in response to the AP's defiance, defended the ban as a necessary measure to combat what they perceived as a deliberate campaign of misinformation. They accused the AP of intentionally disregarding a lawful directive, framing it as an act of defiance against the president's authority and an attempt to undermine his agenda. They argued that the AP's refusal to adopt Gulf of America was not merely a matter of semantics, but a deliberate attempt to delegitimize the president's executive order and sow discord among the American people. They framed it as a choice between respecting the democratically elected leader of the country and promoting division and disrespect for the office of the presidency. Deputy Chief of Staff Taylor Budowich, a key figure in the administration's communications strategy, argued that while the First Amendment protects the freedom of the press, it does not guarantee unfettered access to the White House. He maintained that the ban was not an infringement on press freedom, but a consequence of the AP's deliberate decision to disregard a lawful order. The White House's justification, however, was met with skepticism and outright condemnation from press freedom advocates and media organizations across the political spectrum. They argued that the ban was a blatant attempt to control the narrative and punish a news organization for refusing to toe the line. They saw it as a dangerous escalation in the administration's ongoing war with the media, one that threatened the very foundations of a free and independent press. Section 5. AP fights back. The Associated Press, in the face of this unprecedented attack on their organization, refused to back down. Executive editor Julie Pace, a staunch defender of journalistic integrity, condemned the ban as a blatant violation of the First Amendment and a dangerous assault on press freedom. In a strongly worded letter to White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, Pace argued that the ban was not only unjustified, but also counterproductive. She pointed out that the AP, far from being a purveyor of fake news, had a long and distinguished history of accurate and impartial reporting, often serving as a primary source of information for the White House itself. Pace also issued a public statement denouncing the ban as an attempt to punish the AP for refusing to be cowed by political pressure. She vowed that the organization would not be silenced and would continue to report the news fairly and accurately regardless of the consequences. The AP also announced its intention to challenge the ban in court, arguing that it was a clear case of viewpoint discrimination and a violation of their First Amendment rights. The AP's decision to fight back, to challenge the White House's actions in court, was a watershed moment in the ongoing struggle between the Trump administration and the media. It signaled that the AP was not willing to accept the administration's attempts to control the narrative and would vigorously defend its right to report the news without fear or favor. Section 6. A united front for press freedom. The White House's ban on the Associated Press sent shockwaves through the media landscape, igniting a firestorm of criticism and condemnation from journalists, press freedom organizations, and media outlets across the political spectrum. The New York Times, in a rare show of solidarity with a competitor, published a scathing editorial denouncing the ban as a dangerous escalation in the Trump administration's war on the press. The White House Correspondents Association, an organization dedicated to ensuring access for journalists covering the White House, issued a statement condemning the ban as unacceptable and a violation of the First Amendment. WHCA President Eugene Daniels, in a press conference, called on the White House to immediately reinstate the AP's press credentials and to cease its attacks on the free press. The Committee to Protect Journalists, an independent, nonprofit organization that promotes press freedom worldwide, also condemned the ban, calling it a blatant attempt to censor critical coverage of the administration. CPJ Executive Director Joel Simon, in a statement, warned that the ban set a dangerous precedent and could embolden authoritarian leaders around the world to crack down on independent media. The Society of Professional Journalists, a national organization representing journalists and journalism educators, issued a statement expressing their deep concern over the ban, calling it a direct attack on the First Amendment and the public's right to know. SPJ National President Matthew Hall, in a statement, urged the White House to reconsider its actions and to engage in a constructive dialogue with the press. Section 7. The First Amendment on trial. The White House's decision to ban the Associated Press from covering the White House raised profound questions about the First Amendment and the future of press freedom in the United States. The First Amendment, a cornerstone of the U.S. Constitution, guarantees freedom of the press, protecting the right of journalists to report the news without fear of government censorship or retaliation. The ban on the AP, a news organization with a long and distinguished history of reporting on the White House, represented a direct challenge to this fundamental right. By attempting to dictate what language journalists could use, and by barring a news organization from covering the White House based on its reporting, the Trump administration was effectively engaging in censorship, a clear violation of the First Amendment. Legal experts argued that the ban was unlikely to withstand legal scrutiny. They pointed out that the First Amendment provides broad protection for journalists, particularly when it comes to covering government activities. They argued that the White House's justification for the ban, that the AP's refusal to use the term Gulf of America constituted fake news, was flimsy and unlikely to hold up in court. The ban on the AP was not just an attack on a single news organization, it was an attack on the very principle of a free and independent press. It was a stark reminder that press freedom, a cornerstone of American democracy, is a fragile right that must be constantly defended against those who would seek to silence it. Section 8. A legacy threatened. The Associated Press, founded in 1846 by a group of 6 New York newspaper publishers, has long been considered one of the most trusted and respected news organizations in the world. Its commitment to accuracy, impartiality, and fairness has earned it a reputation as a beacon of journalistic integrity, a standard-bearer for the profession. The AP's reach is vast, with its news reports, photos, and videos reaching billions of people worldwide every day. Its journalists work tirelessly to provide accurate and timely coverage of events around the globe, often risking their lives to bring news from conflict zones and disaster areas. The White House's ban on the AP threatened to tarnish this legacy, to undermine the organization's credibility and reputation for journalistic integrity. By attempting to silence the AP, to prevent it from carrying out its mission of informing the public, the Trump administration was attacking not just a single news organization, but the very principles of a free and independent press. The ban also had the potential to damage the AP's ability to report effectively on the White House in the future. By barring its journalists from attending press briefings and other events, the administration was limiting the AP's access to information, making it more difficult for the organization to fulfill its role as a watchdog of government power. Section 9. The Future of News. The White House's ban on the Associated Press raised serious questions about the future of news in an era of increasing political polarization and distrust of traditional media institutions. The ban, seen by many as a blatant attempt to silence critical coverage of the Trump administration, highlighted the growing challenges facing journalists in the United States and around the world. The rise of social media, while providing new platforms for news and information, has also contributed to the spread of misinformation and disinformation, making it more difficult for the public to distinguish between fact and fiction. This has eroded trust in traditional media institutions, making it easier for those in power to dismiss critical coverage as fake news and to attack journalists who challenge their narratives. The ban on the AP served as a stark reminder of the importance of a free and independent press in a democratic society. Journalists play a crucial role in holding those in power accountable, informing the public, and providing a platform for diverse voices and perspectives. When journalists are silenced, when the free flow of information is stifled, democracy itself is threatened. The future of news depends on a public that values and demands accurate, impartial reporting. It depends on journalists who are willing to hold those in power accountable, even in the face of threats and intimidation. and it depends on a society that recognizes the vital role a free and independent press plays in safeguarding democracy and ensuring an informed citizenry.